Good morning, Stephen. Thanks so much for joining us on Business Owner Spotlight. Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself then? Tell us a bit about what you do.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. Hi, my name's Steven. I'm the founder of Bodega Bagels. Bodega Bagels has been in existence since September last year.
Okay.
Started as like a home garage bakery making bagels and flavored tubs of cream cheese, which we call schmear, and selling them kind of as a collection service on a Saturday. And now, about 9, 10 months later, we have 2 units in town, 12 employees, and I've went full time at it, so it's kind of quicker than I thought, but that's where we're up to now already.
It's going really well then. That's brilliant.
Yep. Oh yeah. No, it's I think I just got lucky in terms of finding a food that everybody loves, but nobody else in Belfast just happened to be doing.
Yeah, fantastic. So you find your niche now.
Yeah.
So who do you have an idea of who your ideal customer is then?
We kind of originally kind of seemed to really hit that kind of, I guess you'd almost call it like the kind of hipster trendy crowd. The first pop-up we did in October, it was very kind of a cool crowd came, which as someone who doesn't particularly see themselves as very hip or cool, I was quite surprised by it. However, now we kind of just get anyone and everyone. We do get quite a lot of Americans who live over here that come, which is always great because they always have stories of bagels. But we get toddlers through to, sort of grandparents coming in. We get lots of people bringing their dogs down because both our spots are dog friendly. But yeah, it's just for anyone and everyone.
Fantastic. And would you say COVID has had any impact on your business then, and anything you're doing differently because of it?
Well, we started in September last year, kind of coming out of the back of it. So I think September to November anyway was still very much kind of seen as COVID time. So I don't think we would have started and had kind of sort of immediate kind of customer base if it hadn't been for COVID. So we kind of had that. In a way, it was almost fortunate timing that, lots of things weren't open. The town wasn't open. I think restaurants were sort of, sometimes they were open, sometimes they were shut. It was that kind of grey period. But people were really interested to kind of find things in social media, to go to people's houses and pick up bagels, pies, whatever it may be. And then whenever we kind of first started launching in actual bricks and mortar space, people were willing just to kind of come down and stand in a queue for 45 minutes because there wasn't a whole lot else could be done. So it
give
worked hard.
Give you an opportunity to get into the industry then?
Yeah, 100%. I don't think, trying to make bagels in your garage in like a sort of bakery and then selling them via Instagram maybe would have been such a good business model 3 years ago.
Yeah. No, I get that. So what would be your biggest learning since you've been a business owner?
This is kind of, I always wanted to be a business owner, but I never knew what industry it was going to be in. And I always loved food, but I had no hospitality background. So I didn't really expect it to be in this. I guess my biggest learning is it's not as glamorous, which maybe lots of people say, as you think. I kind of thought, I'd just sit in coffee shops and, on a fancy laptop doing spreadsheets and looking at the figures and data. And I guess kind of my background was sort of from IT management consultancy. I love kind of getting into that detail, but you just don't really get that kind of time to take that step back and look at it. You're kind of constantly in a car running between wholesalers, bagging bagels, filling bagels, pouring coffees. So you're kind of on the front line all day, every day. And the things that I thought I would be spending my days doing is kind of stuff that you just have to try and squeeze in here and there, or unfortunately just sometimes gets kind of moved down the priority list. So I guess that's my biggest learning is you become a jack of all trades and you just have to do absolutely every single element of it and be happy to do it.
You end up wearing a lot of hats then.
Yeah, exactly. So.
And have you found any? So you mentioned there you're not getting to do what you used to do in your own business, but have you found any new hats that you really enjoy wearing?
Oh yeah, like I think for me, why I started Bodega and then sort of made the leap to go at it full time, because for the first kind of 6 months I worked 5 days a week and then did that on a Saturday, Sunday. So and then I kind of made the leap was I seen what my future was kind of turning into, which was this is probably my first video conference call in 4 or 5 months, but this
Yeah.
was 7 hours a day, 5 days a week for me. And the office life had kind of been forgotten about and was looked like it was going to be a distant memory. And I just needed human interaction and being out and about. So I actually really love that kind of just being behind a till, chatting to customers, getting your regulars,
Yeah.
seeing how they are, coming in every morning, and there's like 4 or 5 of your staff are maybe already down there, getting the early bagels out, getting prepped. So that's what I enjoyed the most, is that kind of just people interaction, which was sort of becoming a forgotten thing in the kind of
Sure.
professional world that I came from.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. And you get a bit more energy from that, don't you, when you're actually face to face with somebody instead of when there's a screen in between?
Yeah, no, within like a minute of walking through the door, you're just not tired and you're in a great mood
Yeah.
every single day, basically. Whereas working from home, it could take you to 11, 12 and two coffees before you felt that you were actually in a place to really be efficient.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. So what would you say then has been the biggest issue you've had to overcome?
I think the hardest thing for me in the past 2 or 3 months, especially, is just is probably staff, and not in terms of having issues with staff, but just getting staff.
Yeah.
I've been quite fortunate that whenever I have put some adverts out, I have had good responses, on various websites and through social media. But it's just a complete unknown. It's hospitality. I'm probably my target demographic for employees, especially over the summer, was kind of younger people, students, people are at home. But I kind of find myself now where I've got a great team, but I'm
Yeah.
losing third of them in September
Yeah.
because they're
Yeah.
going to cross the water to uni. So now I have to just, having only got those people in a couple of months, and they're now at the stage where they're very competent, and I could sort of leave them to be in one location while I'm in the other and run the show, and I'm going to lose most of them again. So I just have to go through it all again.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a constant sort of issue and challenge, and there's times where one person maybe has to call in sick the night before a shift. A
Yeah.
couple of people are away, and then all of a sudden you're scrambling. So definitely just want to get a bigger pool of employees so that whenever one or two can't do it, there's other people there. Because at the minute it's always me, but it's me and maybe bringing my other half, Kirsty, in, who I should have probably mentioned sooner. She's the other half of Bodega Bagels, so she still works 5 days a week, which
Yeah.
kind of gives me that freedom to being able to go at it full time, because we still had that security. But I tried not to call upon Kirsty at the weekend so she can have a weekend, but more often than not, she's in doing at least one or two shifts. So staffing is the biggest one, and then just constantly getting used to having all the right ingredients at the right time. And we try to make everything fresh. We don't even have freezers, so we just constantly are ordering just in time, and a 3 hour delay in a delivery can have a big consequence.
Yeah. So it's a little bit sort of seat of your pants at the minute. If it's all working well, it's brilliant. But if one cog slips out, then it's a major issue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we went from one location full time in May to two locations full time at the very sort of start of July there down at Trade Market, and everything's just doubled. The complexity, the amount of things we need to order, the storage space we need. So still, I haven't given myself the time to get into a groove and get comfortable yet. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping that's to come in the next few months.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. So tell me then, who would be the best coach you've ever had, and why?
Yeah, I've never really had a kind of one-to-one coach. I've been fortunate that whenever I joined, so my background was I worked at Deloitte for 7, 8 years. Started in there as a placement, then as a grad, and you do work with some of the smartest and the brightest there. But you kind of have, every time you do a new project, it's like starting a new job.
Yeah.
Because you could be in a new city with a new team in a new industry doing a completely new thing. So I never really had that kind of one-to-one mentor coach that's kind of put their arm around me and they've been there for like 5, 6 years. But I've had lots of really, really smart, intelligent, hardworking people that I've reported into or worked for. And you just kind of, through osmosis, take traits from different people here and there. So yeah, I've had loads of great mentors and like bosses and people that have helped me, but and also in my last job as well, Unrivaled, I had some great people I worked for. But yeah, I've never had that kind of, I'm gonna put my arm around you and coach you through this. Especially now, I've just kind of took a complete leap into the unknown. But there's traits and behaviors I've learned from people as opposed to maybe actual sort of tacit skills that have helped me right now where I'm at.
What sort of thing are you thinking in terms of traits and behaviors?
So in my last job, it was like a web agency. So it was, we kind of built and maintained websites for large people, or for large clients, I should say. And like, in that, it was very much an environment of test and learn. And you might get it wrong, but then not to do it again. And when I say that, it's like, social media campaigns, right down to what color is a button and where do you position it.
Yeah.
Experimentation, we called it. And, I think it's very easy just in Bodega to get a menu of 4 or 5 items that people like and not to push the boundaries, but we can kind of like create a special in a day. And if nobody likes it, we can drop it the next day. And we can, put a till here and a collection point here for a couple of days and be like, how does that work? And then after 2 days, be like, no, that didn't work. Go back to how flip it around. So I'm always tinkering. But I kind of learned in that kind of world that it's okay to tinker, but when it's not working, don't flog a dead horse. You just So like, we could try 3 or 4 new things in 1 week, and then the following week have stopped doing 3 of the 4 of them. And I don't, the 3 that didn't work, I take as much out of as the one that did.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I get that. Test and measure we would talk about. And if you find something that works, go big on it then.
Yeah, no, and like we've found plenty of things that haven't worked or didn't work how I thought they'd work, and there's been plenty of things that I didn't think would work that has worked. So I'm very green to this world and happy to sort of be proven wrong by myself or others quite a lot.
It's good mindset that as well, growth mindset, that you're prepared to take on the extra information when you get it. So have you got any favorite quotes or sayings you've learned along the way that are sticking with you?
I don't really have any like inspirational kind of, you miss every shot, you don't take Michael Scott quotes or anything. I think for me, my mantra was, so we launched Bodega last September, but it was kind of, I'd been working on it since January, getting the food hygiene certificates, getting the garage built out, business, brand, everything. And, it was during COVID. So like to order an oven took 3 months when I thought it might have took 3 days. But I just kept telling myself, and the thing I kept repeating was, it's now or never. And I was really just where I was at personally, coming out of like that kind of COVID and work becoming more of a home as opposed to an in-person thing. But also just where I was in my life. I got married in the end of April there. And I just kind of thought, I'm 30, 31 now. I'm about to get married, get that kind of milestone done and paid for. I have a house, so I have that milestone done and paid for. But I don't have kids and that expense. So I'm in this like sweet spot in my life. So I just kept saying, it's now or never, it's now or never. Quit your job, go do this. If it doesn't work after a year or 2, you can go back into what you were doing before. If it does work, happy days. So that's kind of still to this day, every now and again, I'm like, it's now or never, it's now or never.
Just keep that with you. That sounds like a good mindset to have. And what about you're off to a fantastic start. 2 venues already. What does the future look like, and what do you see as the main challenges that might lie ahead?
I think for me, so that's basically 2 locations this year. I'm not I'm not going to say I'm definitely not going to, but I'm not planning on opening anything else this year.
Yeah.
I think it's about consolidating what I have, and being able to kind of get a few more staff in and take a step out of kind of being in the frontline trenches all day, every day, and sort of go back to that data side of things. I want to see, what's my margins and different things, and kind of find maybe some different suppliers, and because I think, and the other side of thing I really want to grow out this year is the kind of midweek office catering side of things. We can do platters and all of that, and it's sort of a nice alternative just to wraps and sandwiches that, I have had plenty of free work lunch and know that they're all very sort of, for the most part, similar.
Yeah.
That's kind of like where I'm wanting to grow, and then just consolidating what I have. And then also just trying to kind of get to grip with forecasting things like costs and margins and all of that. I'm sure you've heard it in the news constantly, but I kind of started working in a food hospitality trade at what most people who are already in the business have said is the worst time to be in it. So it's just about costs go up, but I'm not like spending my time looking at spreadsheets to see what the impact of that is. So for me, it's just about taking the next 6 months to become, reduce costs, increase business without kind of doing anything drastically different or new.
Yeah, just as you say, consolidate and make what you have strong.
Yes, no, yeah, 100%.
Fantastic. And just lastly, then, if you started off your business again, is there anything you would do differently?
Not really, no. If you'd asked me this time a year ago before we'd launched, like where I would be in August, I think I would like to have, I think my dream was to have gone from 5 days of my day job to 4, and to maybe be doing like a Saturday, Sunday market. And that was kind of the initial 12-month goal. And I've kind of smashed that, and sort of, I'm now, full-time, 2 spots, 12 staff. So there isn't really too much, there's plenty of things that we've done wrong and things that we've tried that didn't really work, but I wouldn't have known they didn't work if I hadn't done them. So I don't think I would really change anything at all, to be honest. I'm happy at kind of the level I'm at the minute, and I've got a good foundation to build from, but I also, can just focus 100% in this.
Well, like Stephen, that was brilliant. Again, fantastic start you're off to. Some great insights in there. And again, as you say, now or never, just back yourself, do it, get on with it, make it happen. That would be my big takeaway. And look, thanks so much for coming on and sharing that with us.
Cheers, Scott. Thank you.